What's up, freak bitches, wherever you may be, however you may be listening? Thank you for giving us just a few minutes of your time. I am a half hour later than I planned on starting because I got really lazy after I got done with my little bit of work I did today, and I did not finish up my graphics, but we're here. We're here. Yeah. Read the small print there, Ray. Read the small print. Anyway, here with Bodark. We're going to talk about some movie stuff that's going on right now. I'm going to try to start doing more live streams, at least on Thursdays before Brody goes live. It's not always the easiest thing in the world for me to do, but I'm going to try to start doing it every week. And right now, there is some, I don't know, there's some fun music or some fun movie news. There is some weird movie news, and there is some potentially serious movie news, depending on what you even really want to know about the movie industry. But one of the first stories that I wanted to talk about today is, movie biopics are obviously like the big thing right now, and with the success of some movies, many years ago, like La Bamba and Coal Miner's Daughter and things like that. Most recently, we've had things like Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man. But everybody really, really wants to make a biopic movie on themselves now because it's just a thing to do, and the next one is going to be Madonna. For some reason. Now, it's not that Madonna's life is not fairly interesting. At least what we all know about it anyway. It's this whole story about how it's going to be put together. So supposedly, the Material Girl has lived long enough to tell and express herself on the big screen, as Madonna is teaming with screenwriter Diablo Cody, and producer Amy Pascal and Universal for a biopic on herself. Now in this case, here's the fun part, it's going to be an autobiopic. The music and pop icon is not only co-writing the script with Cody, who won an Oscar for writing Juno many years ago, but she is also going to be directing the project. Now, here's my problem with this whole thing. I don't know how do you write and co-write and direct a movie based on your own life. How do you even pull that off?
I really don't know. It sounds to me that she wants to do it herself or some shit like that, and how she'll need to find like an actress that could look like her and all that crap. Who would even look close to her? Lady Gaga?
I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, it depends on what part of Madonna's life and career you're going to focus on. I mean, because if you think about it, Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know if you've seen it or not, it does focus on a particular part of Freddie Mercury's life. And let's face it, that movie is more about Freddie Mercury than it is Queen. They just kind of go hand in hand. But it does focus on him finding the band and them getting together and their career together, rather than is it a biopic of any of one of them like Freddie Mercury. But if that's all you're going to do is follow her entertainment career, then that's probably not a bad deal. But if you're directing it yourself, my fear is that it's going to be a gigantic puff piece. That you're only going to go up there and say, oh, yeah, well, this is all the great stories about how great my whole career has been, and that's all it's going to be. It's not really going to be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like what the struggles and stuff like that, what they went through and whatnot, like all the other ones I've seen.
Well, I mean, she may talk about some of the struggles. I'm afraid that she's not going to be entirely honest about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They have you seen one of Ozzy Osbourne's music videos that kind of looks like one of those things?
I've seen a lot of Ozzy music videos.
Did you see the one Under the Graveyard? That was like what we're talking about right now.
Maybe I have. When did it come out?
Fuck, this year sometime.
I probably not then. I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of music stuff for a long, long time now. But, because, when MTV died for me, kind of going after music videos kind of died for me. So, I generally just read more about musicians than I watch videos or anything now. But I'll have to give that a look. But that's the thing, though, is I think even somebody like Ozzy Osbourne, who, again, he's one of those people that we kind of know everything about anyway. He's always lived a very open life. We wouldn't expect him to say, don't say anything about this, because I don't want it to make me look bad. He'd just say, go ahead and put it out there. Everybody knows that I've done drugs. Everybody knows about all this other stuff. Why would I hide anything that I've done? So I would imagine that Ozzy Osbourne would be way more honest about his life experiences. I don't see Madonna being that honest. Like I said, I think that makes it a puff piece rather than a real biography about what her career was like.
Yeah, I think so too. Who would you want to see make one though? An actual one.
I don't know. Make one on Madonna?
if they were to make one on Madonna without Madonna's help and stuff like that, who do you think would do a good job at it?
Acting or directing?
Acting.
I don't know. It's the reality is actresses and actors are a dime a dozen. That you can always find. You could probably find some 17, 18-year-old in LA who will play a pretty good Madonna, who can tease up the hair and put on the 80s clothes and look good. You could probably find somebody older to play the older Madonna, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It's the acting isn't really the hard part. The hard part would be the directing, because you want someone who's going to tell the story honestly and as accurately as possible. Sure, it's not going to be entirely accurate, because movies very rarely ever are, because life is sometimes boring. You have to spice it up a little bit to make it worth a movie. But I don't know. To me, the key would be the director. If it was a director like a Patty Jenkins, the one who does like Wonder Woman and stuff like that, I would be down with that, because Patty Jenkins is a hell of a storyteller. Not to mention, being a woman herself, she would want to make sure that the important parts of Madonna's story are told seriously.
Agreed. And
as accurately as possible, of course. Because, I mean, let's face it, Madonna's had a colorful life. I mean, she's had relationships with everybody from Warren Beatty to Jose Canseco to whoever else, Sean Penn. The music career, the acting career, I mean, the charity work, the art, the fashion. I mean, she's kind of had her fingers in a lot of pies. So there's a whole lot of potential stories to tell, but you have to root through all those stories to kind of figure out what's the most entertaining and what people are most curious about. And then try to formulate it from there, what kind of a, hour and a half, 2 hour, 2.5 hour long movie you want to make. I don't trust Madonna to do that.
Nah, I think she's gonna cover up some of her dark past and stuff.
Well, it's like when we tell stories about ourselves, it's instinctive to either not put in all the ugly details or to embellish here and there so that we at least don't look as bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of what it's going to be to me. I just worry it's going to be a big puff piece. But one of the things I did see when in reading one of these articles, and I've got articles listed to all the topics we're going to talk about in the description, by the way, for those of you who want to go look. Madonna did say that the focus of this film will always be the music. I doubt that 100%. This is not going to be about the music. Nobody wants it to be about the music. They want it to be about Madonna the character. Nobody's going to watch this movie because of the music. I can go download this music or get the Immaculate Conception or the Immaculate Collection, her greatest hits thing that she came out with in the 90s. I can go find that on YouTube. If all I wanted was the music, I'd go there. I want the story.
You want to figure out what Madonna went through and stuff like that, what made her who she is.
Well, that's the whole reason of making a movie about a person, is to tell the story of this person. That's why I don't understand why you'd want it to be about the music. If you want it to be about the music, make another documentary like that one she did years ago. I forget the name of it. But, the one thing that I do kind of like right now about this project is the title. Apparently right now the project is currently untitled, but Madonna has referred to it as Live to Tell, which is actually kind of a fantastic title for the movie. For one, that's one of my favorite Madonna songs is Live to Tell. It's from a movie. It's from a Sean Penn movie called At Close Range, which is a fantastic 80s movie. It's a very dramatic piece, and that's a fantastic, beautiful song. And so I really, really do like it. Much like I liked Rocket Man for the Elton John biopic and Bohemian Rhapsody for the Queen biopic, I think just taking that perfect song title and making the title of the movie is fantastic. I really dig it.
Yeah, and if that sounds like a really cool name and eye-catching, but I think a lot of people that would probably be like, well, what's this about, and not realize the song. They have to go look for the song, probably.
Well, I think it works, too, because Live to Tell is kind of a euphemism for how long her career's been, the ups and downs, the reinventing herself, and things like that. One of the things that Madonna's always been good at is continually reinventing herself. I mean, she reinvented herself at some point in the 90s, and then she obviously reinvented herself again, getting into like acting and stuff like that. I mean, she's been in movies like she started acting early too. I mean, she was in Desperately Seeking Susan back in the 80s. She was in that god-awful Dick Tracy movie with Warren Beatty back in the 80s. That's just not one of the good comic book movies that was ever made. Now, she was in Evita, which isn't a good movie, and she was in one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, A League of Their Own, which maybe it's because I'm a baseball fan, maybe it's because I'm a history buff, maybe it's because it's a true story and I just kind of love the story. That is a fantastic movie that everybody should see. But, but reinventing herself has been something she's done a lot. It wasn't just with the music in the 90s. She got into directing in the early 2010s. She directed, W.E. It's a period piece starring Abby Cornish and Andrea Riseborough. Can't say that I've seen it, but I mean it's hard to transition from one area of entertainment to the other and to be taken seriously. But then again, if you're Madonna, it's probably easy because she is legitimately the best-selling female music artist in history with 335 million records worldwide. So I mean, why couldn't she pull it off?
Two Sweets wonder if they'll remake her movies.
I don't know. Maybe a modern Dick Tracy retelling would do. I mean, I don't want her in it, but I mean, because that movie was just not good from start to finish, and it wasn't her fault. I just don't think that movie was necessarily very good. Ellen making a good Madonna? No, Ellen wouldn't make a good Madonna. Ellen barely makes a good Ellen. I don't know. Dick Tracy would be cool for a remake. I don't want A League of Their Own remade. I think that movie is beautiful, perfect the way it is. I don't know. She's actually been in a lot of movies and stuff like that, so who the hell knows? Desperately Seeking Susan, I don't know if it would go over well these days. I think rom-coms are made differently nowadays than what they were back in the day, so I don't know if that would work out the same, but I mean, it's possible. But, I think we've talked enough about Madonna. Either we're going to go see this movie or we're not. But look, I don't know. Being a child of the 80s, I'm interested. Because 80s Madonna is fantastic. I mean, Madonna was one of the 2 or 3 acts that just defined 80s music. And 80s music is fantastic. It's way better than anything that's come out since. And people can argue me on that all they want. But everybody's reaching back to rip off 80s music nowadays. So there's a reason for that. Because 80s music was fucking phenomenal. But I don't know. We'll see. Apparently, it's already been greenlit too, so this is happening. It's just a matter of time before we see this. But whatever. It'll probably be another year and a half or so before we even come close to seeing this in the theaters. Probably at least another year before we even get any kind of a release date. So who the hell knows? But we'll see when all that comes out. But Go down in the comments below, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Madonna directing herself in her own auto biopic. It sounds ridiculous in the face of it, but I can't help but be interested. But moving on, Black Widow, Jesus Christ, the one I think I should have had the review for this movie up. What is it, about 5 months ago? Oh my God, it's just killing me the bad luck, and we're gonna get into a little bit more in the next topic, but. The reopening of the movie theaters has hit another speed bump. Walt Disney is likely to delay Black Widow, the superhero Marvel adventure that was slated to open November 6th, again, according to multiple individuals with the knowledge of the situation. An impending Black Widow delay comes just days after Warner Brothers announced that Wonder Woman 84 will debut in late December instead of early October. Both those movies were supposed to come out in the spring. Both these movies were due out, I think 6 months ago, 5 or 6 months ago, they were supposed to release. Obviously, everything got screwed because of Corona. But, man, moving this movie again, the rumor is now that they're not just moving it back to December. They're moving it to next spring. So they're going to end up bumping it an entire year. And that's hard.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all either. I think it's for their best, for the sales and stuff like that, it'd probably be better to just release it. If they already have it completed, they should just release it.
Well, this does kind of spill over to the next topic, so I don't want to blow my load on that too quickly. But they are kind of in this weird situation when you've made this movie that costs $250 million, and you're seeing other big name movies that are coming out. That are coming out in the last couple of months, trying to kickstart the theater industry, and they're barely making any money at all. I mean, we'll talk about Tenet here in a minute. That movie is going to be a huge box office flop. And it's not because it's a bad movie. It's getting killer ratings. It's going to be entirely because people aren't comfortable going back to the theater yet because of the pandemic stuff. And it's I mean, if you're Marvel and Disney and you're looking at this and saying, well, if we can continue to push it and we can possibly run up against this problem of the law of diminished returns, which is the more you push and push and push, the less and less and less money you can make on a $250 million movie. But you've also seen examples in the past because what was it, Godzilla King of the Monsters? They released that trailer and did a huge marketing push a year before the movie came out. They released footage and a full trailer and all that at Comic-Con, and then just beat the hell out of people with marketing for a year. And by the time the movie actually came out, people were kind of like, didn't this movie come out a long time ago, or didn't we watch this a long time ago? There wasn't any buzz for it at all. And that really hurt the box office for that as well. And I think they're kind of looking at that and saying, well, you know, we've kind of we've seen this path taken before. It didn't work out good. But at the same time, do you release a $250 million movie to theaters where nobody's going? Because it's really hard to make money back in a $250 million movie. I mean, whatever the budget was for the movie, you can multiply that by 2 when you include marketing. So this movie would have to make $500 to $600 million just to break even.
Or what they probably are gonna do is probably have it stream on Disney Plus, but you have to pay $30-something like Mulan.
But that's the thing, is they're also learning this lesson with Mulan, because not only is Mulan not making the kind of money they wanted it to make on Disney Plus, it's making a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's not making enough to help cover the cost of producing the movie in the first place. So if that movie cost $250 million to make, which I don't remember what the budget for Mulan exactly was, but you're not making that on $30 on Disney Plus. And on top of that, you're not getting a lot of new subscribers to Disney Plus just to watch this movie, which is one of the things they were hoping to do, was to get new subscribers and people paying extra to see Mulan, so they would get some money that way. But they haven't really gotten that either, because most people who wanted Disney Plus got Disney Plus as soon as it came out. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $7 a month, and I have all the Marvel movies and Star Wars movies and Nat Geo and all this stuff at my fingertips. Why wouldn't I spend $7 a month for Disney Plus? But yeah, they're just in a really, really shitty position with Black Widow. And on top of that, you've already pushed everything in the MCU back a year. Because Shang-Chi has been pushed. Let's see. Doctor Strange, the whatever the hell, the Multiverse of Madness is what it's called. God, that's a whole lot to say. But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has gotten pushed. Everything's gotten pushed, and the only thing you're looking to put out in the next 6 months is the stuff that's supposed to be going up on Disney Plus, the TV shows like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and some other stuff. So, I mean, you want to get your movie out there to start making whatever money it can make. I think Disney probably assumes at this point they're going to take a loss. I don't know. What do you think? You think Disney's already just kind of like, look, we're going to end up eating some money on this movie no matter what we do? Do we wait and try to make sure we put it out, or do we put it out now, or do we wait until we're actually going to get people in theaters? What do you think?
It's really hard to say, but I think that Disney's going to end up probably taking an L with this.
Yeah, God, it's just a bad situation all around for Disney. Now, I don't feel entirely bad because, Disney, I think all the Marvel movies, if you average out their box office, they average $1 billion a piece. So Disney / Marvel, they can probably handle it just this once. But the problem is how long is it going to take? And this is the one variable that they can't really figure out from where all this stuff is going on, is at what point do people start going back to the theaters, and it makes it smart to go ahead and release one of your big budget movies in theaters again? Like, when do we get to that point? And that's the hard part. So,
all because of COVID.
Yeah, because of this damn COVID. Yeah, it's God, the whole thing. Did I not have? I didn't have it. But I didn't even do my other graphic that I was
slide
supposed to do. Yeah, my other slide that I was supposed to do, and I never did.
Oops.
Oops. Well, that's what I get for not being on top of my game today. But, it's all going to be really difficult, and it's, something the entire movie industry is going to have to deal with for the next probably year and a half. And that's kind of damn scary.
Well, I'm hoping that that's not the case, that somehow, like, in some way, that somewhere in 2021 or before 2021, this all starts and everything goes back to normal. I mean, in my state, they're slowly bringing stuff back to normal, by like bowling alleys and stuff like that, but nothing about movie theaters, unfortunately.
Well, they need to do something. Trying to kill some time while I get this last slide together.
But with how we're doing right now in New York State, we're already in like phase 4, and we haven't really had any major, outbreaks in a long time. So I'm starting to see more of a decrease in cases than increase, but should be good news, not bad news. Hopefully.
Well, whatever we've got going on, it does kind of branch over into the next topic as I reach for my other set of notes. and I continue to add things to these graphics. Good thing I've only got 7 hands because there's not a lot to do or anything.
Mm.
Hell yeah, we're gonna be talking about Tenet, and this all kind of spills over into this thing. This disastrous debut of the Warner Brothers spy thriller Tenet at movie theaters as Hollywood studios fingering the panic button. Tenet, a $200 million Christopher Nolan production, which has amassed less than $30 million in ticket sales since it hit U.S. theaters on the 3rd, which is 2 weeks ago. And it's given Tinseltown a big wake-up call. That's, again, I mean, this all kind of spills over to the same thing. Is how are movie theaters going to deal with their release schedules and all this stuff? And I want to take a minute to thank a couple of people that have subscribed. I don't know why it's coming up. Tony from Revia, he subscribed last week. Just want to throw him a little bit of a shout out. But it's this whole situation is pretty unprecedented. There is no playbook for this because you can't just look back and say, oh yeah, this thing happened a long time ago and this is how we handled it. No, that's not how they handled it. Let me take a minute to shout out the chat, too. I forgot to do my Drew and shout out the chat. We started out with Bodark, Too Sweet popped in, DaKartoonKid, Ray Rawlings. The link to his channel is in the description below. Too Sweet, who else we got? Really Smart. I think that's all who's watching right now. We've also got, that's it. I thought there was somebody else new in the chat, but I guess I was seeing things. But, yeah, this whole thing, last week, again, Warner Brothers decided to postpone Wonder Woman 1984 until all the way to Christmas Day from October 2nd. So they've pushed that 6 months. Universal's also pushed their Candyman reboot to an undetermined date next year from its October 16th date. Also, they're talking about the Pixar movie Soul, which is supposed to be out on November 20th, maybe getting bumped to Disney+. I don't know if they're going to actually do that, but who the hell knows?
That's a possibility.
I think you can get away with that with the Pixar stuff because it's mostly kid fare anyway, and I think most people would probably pay, depending on what the price point is, would probably pay to have that kind of, just to be able to sit there with their kids at home and watch this movie. It would probably be okay for that, but I mean, not for Black Widow. I would imagine I don't know what the price tag on that movie Soul is probably somewhere in the 150 range, but they also didn't market that nearly as heavily as they market the Marvel stuff. So I would imagine you're probably financially in a better position with that movie to go ahead and dump it to Disney+. I think they did it with Mulan just because they wanted to see how it would go, and they figured, well, if we have to learn how to do this, we're going to learn how to do it now. So they did it with Mulan. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, when are you planning on going back to a movie theater right now? I mean, I know you're in New York and you don't have much of a choice but to not go because I don't think they reopened yet. But I mean, if they reopen tomorrow, would you go back to a movie theater just to see any old movie?
Yeah, I would go back to watch a movie. I'd actually, I think the best experience I had at a movie theater as of late was probably I loved watching the Deadpool and stuff like that. That was a good film. And Star Wars is really good in theaters. I really love that. Much as people hate the new Star Wars films, I actually enjoyed it in theaters.
Yeah, I went the moment they opened the theaters up here. I was looking to see what they were playing because I really wanted just to go any old movie. You could have put Gem and the Holograms back in the theater, and I would have gone to see it just for the theater going experience. So I ended up taking my kids to go see Jurassic Park because they had never seen Jurassic Park in the big screen. It was the last time it was on big screen was before any of them were born, and I had forgotten how good it was to see that movie on a big screen. And so I think it's kind of cool that they're taking this opportunity now to go to some classic stuff like Jurassic Park. I think Wizard of Oz is played in some theaters. You got like Jaws is the one I wanted to go see, and I never got around to going to see it. But the big screen experience is definitely better for some of the movies like the sci-fi stuff and the big spectacle movies. What's going on, Brad Tome? I noticed you subscribed to. What's going on? Welcome to the shit show. If
they were to air like old like Star Wars films and stuff like that here, I would love to go and watch them just to go and enjoy the classic films and stuff.
Well, they had Empire Strikes Back playing here last week, and I wanted to go see that, but again, I just got to work, and this is what happens when I live next to an Air Force base, as I hear an airplane flying over. But I was reading something from an analyst that said the pushback of films is setting up a circular problem in which movie theaters want customers to show up, but they won't show up if there's no new movies. So it's kind of this damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, because they don't want to show up if there's not new movies, but they don't want to put the new movies out because they're afraid they're going to lose themselves hundreds of millions of dollars. So which one of these things do you think is going to give first?
I really think that the if they really wanted to make money and stuff like that, I think that the movies that are coming out, supposed to come out now, I think honestly are going to give out, because they need to find a way to get the films out there. If they already produced them and they're already trying to set a release date, they need to do something, because if they don't, it's going to fuck them up in the end.
Economically speaking, again, I don't know if Disney and Marvel are going to find themselves in the same position with Black Widow or as they end up with Milan. No, really smart. Those aren't Canadian fighter jets invading you. Although I am only about 3 hours away from the Canadian border, so it's quite possible. But like I was saying, the total box office for Tenet right now, as of this article that I read today, was $207 million. This was a movie that they expected, and that's in 2 weeks. That's 2 full weeks worldwide box office. No, I'm sorry. That's worldwide box office. So that's a movie that they expected to make something like $100 million its first weekend, and it barely scraped by with, I think, $30 million.
Jesus Christ!
And this was a movie that pre-pandemic was huge. I mean, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so obviously it was going to get a lot of buzz. But they were projecting this to be around $850 million in global ticket sales. And 2 weeks in, they've got $207 million, and a lot of people were thinking that they've already kind of blown their load. They've already blown their wad. There's not going to be there's not going to be a surge after this that might happen for some movies under normal circumstances. That this is going to be it. That the returns the box office is only going to dwindle from here. And that's pretty damn dangerous. So, I mean, people are watching this Tenet thing really, really closely. And they're trying to gauge exactly what's going to happen when they decide to put their big budget movies out and take a shot at making some money during this pandemic in the theaters.
Well, due to the pandemic and stuff like that, it's probably going to be a lot more difficult to even make anything past their goals.
Well, a lot of it, too, is just the fact that so few theaters are even open. Right now, they're looking at 60% of North American theaters are open. So they're looking at about 3,500 theaters out of 6,000. Also saying that the biggest sales woes are coming from the fact that major markets like New York and Los Angeles are completely closed. So two of the places where most people go and see movies are completely locked down, New York and LA.
Yeah, that sucks for us, but they're slowly reopening the stuff over here, so hopefully by then they'll be able to reopen everything.
Yeah, right. So it seems like some of the people are even noticing kind of how this is going to go. Sony Pictures Entertainment CEO Tony Vinciquerra, and I'm pretty sure I butchered his name, said something to insiders in what looked like a thinly veiled reference to the flop that is Tenet. He said, and I quote, what we don't want to do is make the mistake of putting a very, very expensive $200 million movie on the market unless we're sure theaters are open and operating at a significant capacity. The two words in there that are important to me are significant capacity. What's a significant capacity? Is it half? Because it may be a while before movie theaters just throw open the floodgates and say, okay, all seats are available, come get it. I mean, it could conceivably be next spring. It could conceivably be tomorrow. I mean, it could be any time between now and next summer. I mean, who really knows how the rest of the stuff is going to play out?
Well, here's hoping that something eventually comes around and we don't have to, be panicking about this kind of shit. I really want to go back and see like movies in the theater, and I really want to go and enjoy it. But unfortunately, it is what it is, man.
I'm going to try to do a Tenet review sometime next week. I'm probably just going to go ahead and dump into one of the theaters and see it. Try to give it my few bucks. And, I hope that it's good. So I'll put up a small review. It won't be like a full review. It'll be a spoilery, but it'll only be about 15 minutes. I haven't had a chance to do it lately. I've just been trying to, just get back to the theater. Like I said, I've been to see a few of the classic things, but that's about it. But one of the a media analyst from ComScore said that Hollywood will have to be patient for the return of theater goers and predicted that 2021 will be an important year for recovery. I think 2021 is going to be it's going to be interesting to see, because at some point this roller coaster has to get out of the dip and start going back up. And I'm interested to see when that happens and how fast it happens. And I think that Marvel may be betting that it's probably going to be in the spring, because if they do end up pushing Black Widow all the way back to probably March or so of next year, then we're gonna see then if people actually want to go, actually feel comfortable going back to the movie theater.
Hopefully they do. But
All I know is I'm ready. I've been ready to go back to the movie theater since this whole thing started. The last new movie I went and saw in theaters was the last Star Wars, and that was January 7th. If my Regal app tells correctly, was January 7th was the last time I went and saw a new movie. And it was shortly thereafter. Well, was it March or something? They closed everything. March.
Early March.
Yeah, I was just biding my time until all the big stuff hit. I was geared up for Black Widow. I was geared up for Wonder Woman, and then somebody decided to cough, and then it all went straight to hell. And there's my woman Jennifer in the chat saying hi. What's up, everybody? What's up, Jennifer? She's actually watching one of my shows for a change. Yay, Jennifer! That's sad that Casey has actually donated more money to my show than my girlfriend has. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a bit of a thing. But God, I mean, I just really hope this whole pandemic thing is gone soon. Anyway, any interesting entertainment news you got going on? You've actually got a project in the works right now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, Tales of Mother Base. We're working on the motion comic / graphic novel for YouTube. It's fan made based off of the game Metal Gear Solid. I've written out 2 out of 3 seasons that we have currently, and we're also working on a Star Wars project as well.
Nice. You got a couple of names attached to that too, right?
Yeah, I got Matt Kerr involved, who is the actual stunt double for Keanu Reeves. He's on board. He's just really jam-packed with all the other... He's busy as a voice actor, so he's got like all these other stuff he's casting in as is Transformers related too. I also have a couple of different voice actors. I also have Andy is Drawing, who is one of the main artists for the project. I have an animator. I have like all these people that are working together as a team. I had a meeting earlier at like 6:30, but I was like so like jammed up in my brain. I was trying to get everything all set up and done, and it's been pretty hectic. I'm not gonna lie, but we're getting this stuff like worked on. And we're gonna do what we can to get it out there. Hopefully, before the end of 2020, at least season 1.
That's really exciting. I've been seeing some of the artwork you guys have for that. I wish I had some pulled up. I'd show everybody, but the artwork definitely looks pretty dope. And I'm really interested in seeing what this story's gonna bring.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I spent like hours writing this shit out, and I just it comes to me and I just write it. And right now I'm just stuck on the season 3, but the artwork for season 2, we just dropped the artwork for season 2. I don't know if I could send it to you via Skype. Would you like that real quick?
No, I'd have to go through the trouble of putting it on a whole nother window. We're getting ready to wrap up anyway, but I'll definitely get some of it out there.
Yeah, but as far as like entertainment wise and stuff like that, I'm really kind of wanting to see more of the I'm waiting for the Mandalorian to come out this coming month, man, because that's like one of my favorite shows to watch on Disney Plus.
Hell yeah! What's up to Bertay Fisecki? I hope I pronounced that right, but they subscribed about a week ago. I want to show this some love real quick. Got a whole ton of subscribers after that show that Aaron and I did, and I didn't even think that show was all that good.
The 9/11 debate?
Yeah, the 9/11 thing.
You guys got to do another one, part 2, because you got to get like actual like information and stuff like that down.
Well, I mean, we had plenty of information at our fingertips, but like he, as per usual for Aaron, was not fully prepared, and I was just for some reason I just was not into it that night. I mean, I had all my stuff in front of me, but I just didn't really feel it. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to do it again so that I can do it right, give it kind of the attention that it deserves. But at the same time, I just feel like there's not really any point in having this argument anymore. It's like
it's already past a day, so
yeah, we're never really gonna know how all that really played out. So, but whatever. I mean, well, this time next year will be the 20th anniversary. Maybe next year we'll really give it a good go, and then after that, I'll just leave it alone and just kind of let people go over it all themselves. But anyway, we're getting ready to close out here. Any final words from you, Bodark?
Be sure to subscribe to Harsh Truth and subscribe to me because I'm live every week, Monday through Friday. But also, Really Smart says do an abortion debate next.
Well, Aaron's on the other side of me about that too, so maybe that's something we could do. But I don't know. I don't really want to turn this channel into the politics stuff. I only really did the 9/11 thing because everybody was asking for it, because they've heard me and Aaron argue so many times before. And, a while back, me and Dave Rose got into it kind of ipso facto on other people's shows about shit. And people just want to see the drama, and I don't know if I really want to get into the drama. But I don't know.
Not worth it.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like that. Well, really smart. He's never going to admit that he was in on planning it because he wasn't in on planning it. But, that's a whole other thing. But anyway, do me a favor. Go down and like the video. That helps push me up the algorithms a lot. Comment on some stuff you want us to see. And, while you're here, I've got this idea in my head to do like a franchise movie discussion. Just to get some people like Bodark, Aaron, some other people together, maybe Casey or somebody like that, and just talk about an individual franchise, not individual movies, but we'll take, for example, like the Star Wars franchise, and just talk about it for a while. And I love how Alex decides to pop in right as the show's getting ready to wrap up. But yeah, that's an idea I've got running through my head. That's something that I could do, just to kind of help put some more content out there, just some franchise discussion. Just get some guys together and just jabber on about an entire film franchise for an hour or so, or until our heads explode or we kill each other, whichever comes first. And just and just kind of like give our thoughts out there to stuff like that. Well, Jen, I've got my spoiler review for It up there. You can actually go watch those if you watched any of my channel at all. But, maybe one of these days you could donate to my channel on a live stream. But I think we've done about all the damage we can do to both my credibility as a YouTuber and to YouTube itself for one night. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here now. Jabroni Jabber podcast starts in about 20 minutes. Go check him out. The link to his channel is in the description down below. He's going to do an hour on all things Canadian, things like maple syrup, Labatt's Blue, and apologizing profusely. And I'll see you guys later on. You can catch me probably streaming with Bodark at some point tonight, either on his channel or mine. Or just check out our channels randomly. You'll see us up doing some streaming with Aaron probably. So until next time, Bodark, you have a good night. Thanks for stepping in.